Learn how resilience can be born from settling your worth by pressing forward in dark times because you are worth it. Listen to my conversation with Brenda Viola today. Hi, Brenda. Thank you so much for joining me on my Choose Courage podcast. It is such an honor to have you.
And I love the name of your podcast, Choose Courage, because it really is a choice. Really great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I was so impressed by reading your website, your bio, everything that you're doing just kind of lit me up inside because you are bringing your life experiences into the workplace and in people's lives and bringing joy back into it. And I want to find out what led you to this place in your life where you could teach that to people.
What a beautiful way to start. And I will say, you mentioned my logo, which has a butterfly. And the reason I chose the butterfly in my logo is that caterpillar goes through a dark time.
Yeah.
And in that dark place, you can wonder, am I ever going to get out of here? Is anything ever going to get better? Will I ever see the light of day again? And I don't know if you've ever seen a butterfly trying to emerge from a chrysalis, but it's not some beautiful, graceful thing. It's like a violent twisting. Get me the hell out of here.
Yes.
In that struggle, what I've learned, because I had a friend who had a butterfly farm, and literally there is such a thing as a butterfly farm. And she saw that violent struggle. And so she thought, well, let me help. And she opened up the chrysalis so that the butterfly could emerge. And it did. And it was beautiful,
Ah,
but it couldn't fly because it's in that struggle that you create the strength in your wings so that you can fly. And I know it's not a news story, but it very much symbolizes what happened to me. For my whole life and career, I was a news anchor, a reporter, a QVC show hostess, a public information officer, a VP of marketing. I always worked for other people and brought them great success, always on the side, loving to speak and uplift people and sort of having it as a side hustle. In 2021, my life cracked wide open. In a series of months, I lost my mother, my partner, my dog, my job, my house, and almost my life. And in those series of losses, you wave a white flag and you wonder, do I even want to keep going?
mhm.
What I realized is that I had to lose everything to find me. I'm not saying everybody has to do that. Maybe I'm just a little hard-headed, Terry, but uh,
No, it's
in
beautiful.
all that loss, I found meaning and I realized I'm not going to get an invitation. Hey, Brenda, you can now go live the life you always wanted to. No, you choose courage, just like the name of your podcast. You choose. I had to choose me. And so
Mhm.
at 60 of all things, I started a brand new life, a brand new company. I speak full time, I write full time, I consult full time. I am doing everything I always wanted to do. Would I have chosen this path to get here? No. But God, the universe, the divine, whatever you want to call it, had a plan. I had a dream. And when the two combine, you end up in a sweet spot in life. And I'm filled with gratitude for where I sit today.
It's a beautiful story of finding your wings through the worst moments of your life and coming out flying in the most beautiful way in your life. I understand this 100%, but not every person sees the opportunity in their devastation in life. What was it that made you still have hope and crawl out of that place where you just didn't know if you wanted to keep going? What was it
So
inside of you?
It's when I reflect on what preceded all of the losses, I had had an epiphany. I had been in a very unhappy marriage for
Mm.
15 years. I ultimately, after years of hearing, if you don't like it, leave, I finally did. But then I realized wherever I go, I take myself with me. So I began the process of working on Brenda and saying, okay, what got you into a toxic marriage and other toxic situations? Because you really don't want to replicate this, Brenda. You get a new, you've left now. I wasn't looking for a new relationship. I just wanted peace, but I knew I needed to make peace with me.
Mm.
And one of my keynote speeches is settle your worth and live the life of your dreams. And I had to know my own worth in order to finally leave. And I had to shore up that work on the inside of actually loving me, which that sounded so egoic before, but now it's so healthy to say, I love me, right?
Mm.
So I also had good therapy. And I went to Costa Rica and visited with a shaman and had an experience where I realized where I stopped connecting with myself. I saw the moment at age 10 when my dad died, when I realized I need to hold all my emotions in because I don't want to upset anyone else.
Ah,
And though that disconnection from myself, from my inner being, from my emotions, is what allowed me to get into less than situations over and over. Now,
mm.
meanwhile, after that experience, amazing things happened. I met my wonderful partner, Mark, and built this beautiful life. And it's like we're clicking on all cylinders now. Woohoo, I got the answer. And then everything fell apart.
Oh,
Had I not settled the relationship with myself, I could never have survived all of the losses. Because actually, Terry, I was left with me.
yes,
And so when you are left with yourself, that better be a good relationship.
yes.
Now, was it easy? Hell no.
Mm.
Many tears, still more wrestling, more layers of understanding this relationship with myself and making peace with the divine in all of it. But I do believe that until we settle our worth, that is the seminal issue in life. And wherever I go, when I'm stuck in airports or sitting at a bar stool or getting my nails done or whatever, I meet, and primarily women
Hmm.
who still don't get that they are worth the best. And while you are entertaining what is not worthy of you, you are holding at bay that which is. And so understanding that it's not egoic, it's actually healthy to consider yourself your own best friend, to treasure and care for and nurture and feel your feelings and give yourself the space to be and to take up space in this world
Mm.
is so pivotal. Boy, had I wish someone had told me this when I was 10, 14, 17, 21. I would have tried for more because I would have believed for more. But hey, better late than ever is what I say.
Absolutely. And which I think is so interesting that you're saying this because you're so accomplished. Yet your feeling of self fully embracing the feeling of self-worth was loving yourself, even though you did all these other things on paper and that were amazing, at least from my viewpoint. But I do think the foundation, I agree with you that life will throw things at you, and we have an opportunity to learn and
Mm.
grow or shrink and, succumb. And there's an opportunity with anything that happens in life. And I know that's very hard to hear with a lot of people that are listening. And you can use every experience in life to grow and actually connect more to who you are. And that's exactly what you did. You chose, you made a choice. Like you said, there's a choice. We always have a choice, and you're the only one that can make that choice. And you chose to learn and do some inner reflecting. You didn't want to do this again. He's like, you know what? And then you went and you listened to yourself, and you found a shaman in Costa Rica who unraveled one of the key learning experiences you needed to understand from when you were 10 that changed everything. But none of that would have happened if you didn't listen to yourself and did the inner work, which is a loving act toward yourself. And it starts there.
Thank you for your gracious, you get it, right? And I appreciate your kind words, but your insight there was, I want to go back to that because you're like, you accomplished so much.
Mm.
It was because I was trying to prove my worth.
Ah.
So it was a toxic fuel.
Mm.
I was 100 pounds in kindergarten. I speak about this in my Settling Your Worth class. As a 100-pound-year-old kindergartner, you are ostracized and bullied. And so you come up with other skill sets to cajole and entertain and win friends and influence people.
Mm.
But then it fueled my desire to be attractive, and I starved myself to be thin. And I thought, now that I'm thin, I will finally be accepted and appreciated and popular. So it fueled that, only to get to high school thin, but bullied again. I remember vividly walking up a stairwell and the mean girls gathered on each side of me, barking. And because I still was not sure of who I was and knew my own worth, I internalized that. And I thought, wow, am I a dog? And here, when I look at photos, it's like, oh, in no way was I a dog. But then I said, I'll show them I will be a great success. So I went to college, got a degree. While I was still in college, I was doing a news program, and I had my own talk show on a local cable station. Got my big break on QVC, beat out 10,000 people to be one of their first show hosts. And it was like, finally, I've arrived. But it was all to prove something.
Mm.
So when 3 months later, I was unceremoniously cut from the on-air talent at QVC, I was shattered because I got my self-worth from how I looked and what I did.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I'm back waiting on tables in Westchester, Pennsylvania at the Penn's Table Diner, and again, gutted, only to rebuild myself in other ways. But there was this sense of, I've got to prove that I'm somebody.
Mm.
The energy it takes to try and prove that, and the exhaustion of keeping up appearances when it's not for real, whether
Yeah.
it's on your Instagram account or Facebook or your blog or whatever, you're on this treadmill of trying instead of being. When you settle your worth, you can be. You can
Yes.
be. And then the remarkable thing that happens is that you attract what's meant to be in your life. You're not striving for it. You are literally savoring it as it comes to you.
Mm.
Now, do I step out of that? Of course, because I have this condition called humanity. So it's not always this serenity thing going on. But I'll tell you, more often than not now, it is because settling that seminal issue. And I think that there are keys that anybody can apply to settle their own worth if they're willing to do the work, because it's not knowing your worth, it's settling. And settling, the settlers that settled America had to scrape and claw and dig and build and put in new foundations. And so that's why I call my keynote Settling Your Worth. If you're willing to do that work and you are worth it,
Mm-hmm.
come out the other end making a decision never to turn your back on yourself again.
Mm. How I love all this. I'm just soaking it in. It's just a beautiful turning it around, a concept of proving your worth, and how many of us think that who we are is our titles, is our education, our careers, and what we look like, especially women. Women, I think even have more of that, but all, women and men do this. And you say, and you ask, who are you? It's really a hard question. Not what you do, but who are you? It's a big difference. And I love what you said about proving your worth versus knowing your worth. And knowing your worth is settling and feeling comfortable and proud of who you are, and that you don't have to do, you can be. I used to have a license plate that said, just be. And people would come up to me and they'd, just be what? And I'm like, oh, you'll get it. One day you might get it. I'm not sure, but it's okay. So this concept of that we have to do all these things to have self-worth, instead of really understanding who we are, and that's the self-worth inside. And I don't know what would be the first step in turning this thing around, is proving yourself and knowing your worth.
So I would say, and I have an outline, SETTLED, and the first point is stop the comparisons. Your worth is not going to come from how you stand up to or are below someone else. You look at their Instagram posts and their filters and you say, man, I could never be that. And the truth is, either are they. They're putting out an image.
Yes.
So comparison is the thief of joy.
Great point.
You are incomparable. Your essence, your stories, your context, the way you look, the way you speak, the things you like, the experiences you've had, they are uniquely yours. Nobody can be like you. So why would you try to compare yourself? It's apples and oranges. They're two different things. Stop looking out at everybody else and seeing where you fall.
Yes.
In the pecking order. Maybe
I love that. Yes, the comparison. And right now we have it in spades with social media, and like you said, and it's not real. It's not real. The things that are real are things that you can feel inside and know and connect with nature, and these things that will last. They will not go away. Those are the things that are real. And, I also know that people think that their past defines them. And I know that your past does not have to define you. Today is different than your past. Today is present time. And you can create a future from your present time. And that maybe like you did, you can find yourself from your past. Maybe your past can find you instead. And that's what I'm hearing from you. And I just, stop comparing, go inward, and know what you're worth. And regardless, you're unique, and you're an individual. You're not like other people, and that's good. You're an individual person. But you can maybe even look up to other people that you would like to be like, and that's fine too. But understand yourself first. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Oh, that is a great way of putting it. And your whole idea about the past not defining you. We are a product of all of our experiences.
Yes.
But my past does not define me. It informs me.
Mm.
And it's helped to make me more relatable. I mean, when I stand on a stage and I'm giving a keynote, I'm very candid and forthright about my life experiences. It's all good material,
Yes. Yes, it is.
for a writer, it's material; for a speaker, it's material. And one of the phrases I've trademarked is embrace your flawsomeness. You are flawed, but you are awesome. You're flawsome. So embrace your flawsomeness. It's what makes you uniquely you in the world, making peace with my flaws. Because who can relate to an imperfect person? everyone.
Everyone.
We're all imperfect. So
Yeah.
why is perfection the standard? Perfection is the birthplace of imposter syndrome.
Mm.
And let's kick that to the curb. We are authentically us. We're not imposters unless we're trying to be something we're not.
Yes. Flossomness. I love that. It's the most beautiful, important, and true word. I mean, it's gorgeous. I think that's where we start too. It's like if you're trying to reach perfection, that is not realistic. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to keep growing and learning in our entire life. And that kind of makes us more beautiful and who we are.
Well,
You
think
know?
about people that touch your heart. Are
Mm,
they perfect people? No, they're people that, what is it, Rumi that said it's the wound where the light gets in
yes.
and comes out, and in through my series of losses, when I was trying to make sense of it all, what it came down to for me was love. If I can be a person that loves through what I do. Now, I'm a writer and a speaker. You might be a quilter, a mom, a CEO, an accountant. I don't know who you are, but if you can let love out and let love in, then I think in that you found the meaning of what this life is all about. And for any of your listeners or viewers that are going through a dark time, go through it. Don't pitch a tent there or build a house in the dark place. It says, when I go through the valley of the shadow of death, go through it.
Mm,
You will come out the other side different. I look forward to having you on my podcast, which is called The Alchemy of Pain. And it
mm,
talks about how
mm,
painful experiences change us
mm.
forever. And then oftentimes through that pain, you find your purpose. If you are still here and you are breathing, there is a reason for your beautiful life. Don't lose hope in that and keep pressing against the chrysalis.
Such a beautiful message. Thank you so much for shining your light on your experience with us and sharing your beautiful wisdom to help people out there. And, even if it's as simple as, to let love out and let love in and know that you can learn from your pain and your experiences and just start with the love. And that is our true essence, I believe, too. Just make it simple and reach out. I know that we can get a hold of you on your website and social media for you have workshops, you have a book, you speak. I mean, and there's so many different avenues that you are changing lives. So thank you so much for being my guest. And, it is a true honor. It has really touched me for hearing all of your wisdom. It really has. So thank you.
Thank you for the privilege. Thank you so much for how you are serving in the world. And I know that you are shining a light for other people in their dark place. Have a great day.